Hello everyone, welcome to Epsilon Pro Academy. This lesson is basically designed for JAMB candidates. So in today's lesson, we are going to solve JAMB past questions step by step in chemistry, physics and mathematics, showing you the correct approach to each question and how to avoid common mistakes in JAMB. So let's start. So let's consider the first question on the board. Mathematics. This is mathematics. The question says, if this matrix is equal to 15, find the value of x. Option A 2, B 3, C 4, and D 5. First thing first, this is determinants in mathematics. So to obtain 2 by 2 determinants of matrix, the first thing we do, remember this is JAMB, we are required to solve this under 40 seconds. So to do this, it becomes x 2 and 3 7. To obtain the determinants of this matrix, we cross and multiply. So to do this, we have x times 7 minus 3 times 2. 3 times 2, which equal to 15. Therefore, x times 7 gives 7x minus 3 times 2 gives 6, which equal to 15. Making x the subject of the formula, we have 7x is equal to 15. Remember, when minus 6 crosses over the equality sign, it changes to plus 6. So we have 7x is equal to 21. To make x the subject, divide the two sides by the coefficient of x, which is 7 and 7. Therefore, this cancels this, and we are left with just x is equal to 21 over 7. Therefore, x is 3. So on the board, the correct option is option B, which is 3. Let's move on to the next question in mathematics. So under mathematics, let's consider the next question number 2. If y is equal to bracket open 2x plus 2 bracket close raised to the power of 3, find the y over the x. And here are the given options. Alright, in mathematics, this is called differential calculus. So in differential calculus, if a function y is equal to a bracket raised to a certain power, the concept that must be established is the chain rule method, which is the function of a function. Therefore, in chain rule, using chain rule, dy over the x is equal to dy over du times du all over the x. This is the general formula for chain rule. Alright, so let's consider the question on the board. The question is y is equal to, in parentheses, 2x plus 2 raised to the power of 3. Raised to the power of 3, where u is 2x plus 2. So everything in bracket is given as u. If everything in bracket is u, that is to say, to rewrite this, we say that y is equal to u raised to the power of 3. U raised to the power of 3. Next step is to consider the derivation of y with respect to u and the derivation of u with respect to x. The derivation of y with respect to u is called dy over du. Before considering the derivation of y with respect to u, let's go back to this concept. If y is equal to x raised to the power of n, the derivation of y with respect to x, or dy over the x, is given as n x raised to the power of n minus 1. So we are going to apply this principle into this. Alright, so dy over du is the direction of y with respect to that of u. So using this same principle, we have 3 times this gives 3. Then u raised power of n minus 1. N minus 1. N is the index, and the index here is 3. So 3 minus 1 gives 2. Alright, let's also consider the next term on board, which is du over the x. Du over the x is equal to, this is the direction of u with respect to x, and in the parentheses we have 2x plus 2. Remember, u is equal to 2x plus 2. So the derivation of this 2x plus 2 gives just 2. Using the same principle on the board. So the next thing is to substitute. Looking for dy over the x. Dy over the x is equal to dy over du times du over dx. On the board we have dy over du, which is 3u raised power of 2. So we have 3u raised power of 2 times, and du over the x is given as 2. Multiply this by 2, so we have 3 times 2 gives 6u raised power of 2. On the board we have u is equal to 2x plus 2, so let's substitute this into the final answer. And the final answer is this, so this becomes 6 bracket open 2x plus 2 bracket close raised power of 2. So ladies and gentlemen, 6 bracket open 2x plus 2 raised power of 2 is the final result. And the correct option on the board is option D. Option D. Let's consider the next question. So let's consider the next question, which is question number 3, and this is chemistry. The question says, if the elements x and y have atomic numbers 11 and 17 respectively, what type of bond can be formed? Option A, dative bond, B, covalent bond, C, ionic bond, and D, metallic bond. First thing first, to determine the type of bond that will be formed, let's consider the group of these respective elements on the board. So we have element X, mass number, and the atomic number Z is 11. To determine the group, let's write the electronic configuration. In the electronic configuration, we have the first shell as 2, the second shell as the maximum of 8, 2 plus 8 gives 10, and the last shell is 1, which makes it 11. Therefore, we have 2, from the first shell, 8, from the second shell, and 1. This one states the group of the element. So let's also consider the next element on the board, element Y. Mass number and the atomic number of the second element is 17. Using the electronic distribution, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, after the first shell, the next shell has the maximum of 8 electrons. So we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So if you count the outermost shell, which is the last shell, we observe that it has the total of 17 electrons. So the electronic configuration or distribution is given as 2 from the first shell, 8 from the second shell, and 7 from the third shell. Therefore, this last shell states the group of the element. This is group 7. Element X belongs to group 1 and element Y belongs to group 7. The bond formed between group 1 element and group 7 element is ionic bond or an electrovalent bond. What is an ionic bond? An ionic bond, this is the bond formed when an electron is totally transferred from one element to the other element. So the correct option is option C, ionic bond or an electrovalent. Question number 4, under chemistry. The electronic configuration of magnesium 2 ion is dash. Options are given respectively. Alright, so let's consider the element there, magnesium atom, magnesium with 12 electrons, In this radical, Mg2 plus, magnesium is a metal in group 2, and when it undergoes a chemical reaction, it will lose the 2 electrons to become positively charged ion. So we have Mg. When it undergoes chemical reaction, it will lose the 2 electrons to become 2E minus plus Mg2 plus. So when magnesium loses the 2 electrons during chemical reaction, then it will be left with 10 electrons. That is to say, the electronic configuration will become 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. And the correct option is option C. Let's consider the next question. Question number 5. This is physics. The distance between 2 successive crests of a wave is 15 centimeters and the velocity is 300 meters per second. Calculate the frequency. Option A, 2 exponential 2 Hz. B, 4.5 exponential 3 Hz. C, 2.0 exponential 3 Hz. And D, 4.5 exponential 2 Hz. Solution. Let's take down the parameters given. In the question, we have 5 centimeters, the distance between 2 successive crests. The distance between 2 successive crests or trough is known as wavelength. Assuming there is wave on this line. Alright, this is the crest. Here is the crest. Here's another crest. This portion is called the trough. So take note, the distance between 2 successive crests from this point down to this point is called wavelength, and it is denoted as lambda, which is given as 15 centimeters. So that is the first parameter on the board. We have wavelength denoted as lambda, which equals to 15 centimeters. And the next parameter on the board is the velocity of the wave. The velocity is 300 meters per second. Velocity V is given as 300 meters per second. The next parameter on the board is the frequency, which is the required term or quantity on the board. So the frequency F is unknown. So for the first parameter on the board, wavelength, it is given as 15 centimeters. We can actually convert these 15 centimeters to meter. 100 centimeter gives 1 meter. Therefore, 15 centimeters is given as x meter. So x is the unknown value which we are looking for. When cross multiplied, we obtain 100 times x, which is 100x equals to 1 times 15 gives 15. Therefore, making x the subject, we divide the two sides by the coefficient of x, which is 100, and we have 100, 100. So 100 cancels 100, and we are left with x. Therefore, x is 15 divided by 100, which gives 0.15 in meter. So we have obtained the value of the wavelength in meter, which is 0.15. So let's bring this into this formula. Velocity is equal to frequency times wavelength. Frequency times wavelength. From the question, calculate the frequency. So we are required to get the value of the f, which is the frequency. From this point, we can make f the subject of the formula by dividing both sides by the coefficient of f, which is this. So to make f the subject, divided by the wavelength, which is 0.15. 300 divided by 0.15 gives 2000 hence. So in the option, the answers are written in exponents. So let's convert this into this method. F is equal to 2000, which is the same as 2 times 10 raised to the power of, how many zeros do we have here? 3. 1, 2, 3. Raised to the power of 3 hence. That is the correct answer. So the correct option on the board is option C. Option C is the right answer. The next question, question number 6. This is under physics. If the volume of a gas increases steadily as the temperature increases at constant pressure, the gas obeys dash law. Option A, we have the pressure law. B, Charles law. C, Graham's law of diffusion. And D is Boyle's law. So let's look at the question again. In this question, we have constant pressure. The pressure is constant. When the pressure is constant, the relationship between this factor, volume and temperature, is always direct. So from the question we have, increase in temperature is going to bring an increase in volume. So that is to say, at a constant pressure, the volume of a fixed mass of a gas, or given mass of a gas, is directly proportional to the absolute temperature. And the relationship between these two is called Charles law. So the correct option is Charles law. Increase in temperature is going to yield an increase in volume.